Hi everyone, welcome back to Life with Cloud. Today we're actually going to start deck compositions, which I'm super excited about. We're going to go through the main person on the starter box, which is Maleficent herself. In this video, we're actually going to go through her Fate deck, which is the hero deck, her Villains deck, which is the deck that she uses to win her conditions, and just how the cards work, how they interact with each other, and we're going to look out for strategies that can work, and kind of tricks to play the cards more effectively, but at the same time we're going to take a look at things to be wary about where other people can do things to our board to impact us from winning as well, right? So let's begin. To start the Villains deck, you should know that there are 30 cards within the deck. Some of these cards will have one copy of the card, some of them will have 2 copies of the card, and some of them will have 3 copies of the card. This is extremely important for us to understand the playstyle, what is remaining in our deck, and what we should expect as we continue to draw at the end of each of our turns. We will start with the allies that Maleficent has, and we're going to start off with Cackling Goon. Cackling Goon, there are 3 copies of them, and its effect is this. Cackling Goon gets +1 strength for each hero at his location. Super simple. The second of the Goon squad is Sinister Goon. And so this one here also has 3 copies. And its effect is Sinister Goon gets +1 strength if there are any curses at his location. So more curses, he gets stronger. And the last of our Goon squad is Savage Goon. So he has no additional ability and there are 3 copies of him. The last ally that Maleficent has in her arsenal to use is Raven. So Raven's unique ability allows Maleficent to take 1 turn that is unblocked on her board that Raven is currently on. So as you read here, before Maleficent moves, you may move Raven to any location, perform 1 action at his new location. Any action can be performed except for Fate. And so we want to preface this that if there's a hero blocking those actions, you can also not perform an action that is blocked by a hero as well. The next thing we want to take a look at are conditions. So Maleficent has 2 different conditions. First one is Tyranny. And so there's 2 copies of Tyranny. During their turn, and when they say their turn, it means other players' turn. If a player has 3 or more allies in the realm, you may play Tyranny, draw 3 cards into your hand, then discard 3 other cards. So this can be activated anytime during their turn. So if someone plays from 2 allies to 3 allies, it activates this condition, allows Maleficent to draw through her deck faster, to find her curses, to find cards that is helpful to her to help her win. The second condition or type of cards that Maleficent has is called Malice, and you have 2 copies of them. During their turn, once again, their turn are your other player's turn. If another player defeats a hero with a strength of 4 or more, you may play Malice. Defeat a hero that is on your board with a strength of 4 or less. So this is to help you or Maleficent clear heroes that are on your board. Next, we're going to take a look at effects. Maleficent has 2 effect cards. The first one is called Dragon Form, and you have 3 copies of Dragon Form. Dragon Form is defeat a hero with a strength of 3 or less. If a Fate action targets you before your next turn, you gain 3 power from the Power of Cauldron. So this is a wonderful card to help you once again clear heroes from your board, but at the same time helping you collect resources such as power crystals that you will need to play your curses, summon other allies, whatever it may be. The second effect that Maleficent has is called Vanquish. So Vanquish costs nothing. On your next turn, Maleficent does not have to move to a new location. So this is wonderful because every turn for all the other characters, we must move our player model to a different location at the beginning of each turn. This allows you not to have to move Maleficent, which then plays into a strategy of playing curses that you need to, or taking advantage of good environments or locations that Maleficent has. All right, so she has 2 items that is help here to help her win. The first item is called Staff. And so if Maleficent is at this location, the cost to play an effect or a curse is reduced by 1. So this item can be played in any location, and you can move this with move an item or move an ally, but at the same time you can move Maleficent to this location, the location of this item, and you only have 1 copy of Staff. The second item is Spinning Wheel. If a hero is defeated at this location, gain power equal to the hero's strength minus 1. So let's say if you were to destroy one of the heroes that had a power of 3, you would gain a total of 2 power from the power of Cauldron, helping you collect more resources. If you had, lacking in power energy, this would be a great card to have as well. Oh, and there's only 1 copy of Spinning Wheel. All right, so we are now getting to the core of Maleficent's win condition. So these cards are only unique to Maleficent's playstyle, and these are called curses. So Maleficent has 3 different curses, and the first one is called Forest of Thorns. So in this curse here, heroes must be played at this location, has to be 4 or more strength, and then discard this curse if a hero is played on this location. So, and you have 3 copies of this. We will talk about in probably the next little section is what impacts this card and how to get rid of this card. So be very careful. The next one we're going to take a look at is Green Fire. A very nice card. So Green Fire is heroes cannot be played at this location. Discard this curse if Maleficent moves to this location. Also be very careful about curses. And this one you have 3 copies. Last but definitely not least is the last and third curse in Maleficent's playstyle, and it is called Dreamless Sleep. So Dreamless Sleep has the effect heroes at this location loses 2 strength, and then you have to discard this curse from its location when an ally is played to this location. And so wording here is very important. It's when allies play to the location, not move to the location. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that probably in the next couple of minutes. So in Dreamless Sleep, you have 2 copies of this card. Okay, so as you take a look, this is the 30 cards Maleficent has to play through with to help her achieve her goal. So what is Maleficent's goal? So you can see the game board back here. So we're going to pull it up. And so Maleficent's goal, and once again wording here is very important, is to start your turn with a curse at each location. What locations do you have? You have the Forbidden Mountain, Briar Rose's Cottage, the Forest, and then King Stefan's Castle, right? So you want to have a curse at all 4 of these locations at the start of your turn. So that is Maleficent's playstyle, and that is what we are looking to win. All right, so the first card we're going to take a look at is Cackling Goon. So Cackling Goon, as a reminder, gets +1 strength for each hero at his location. So let's say right now his strength is 1. It costs 1 to summon him. So currently there are no heroes at his location. But once a hero gets played, his strength now becomes 2. If a second hero gets played, his strength becomes 3. And if a third hero gets played, his strength becomes 4. So Cackling Goon gets progressively stronger as more and more heroes are played to his location. Next, we will take a look at Sinister Goon. So Sinister Goon, his effect is Sinister Goon gets +1 if there are any curses at his location. Currently, his strength is +3 or 3 strength, and it costs 2 to summon him. So if there was a curse that was played, like Dreamless Sleep, his strength is now 4. If another curse is played, Forest of Thorns, he is now at 5. If a third curse gets played, like Green Fire, his strength is now 6. Let's say your game board currently is like that. it's empty, but Maleficent really needs to collect power energy crystals from the Cauldron of Power. So she is moved here, she's collected 3 power crystals, and she's starving for energy. So the next card that we're going to take a look at is Vanish. So Vanish, on your next turn, Maleficent does not move to a new location, which is wonderful. So let's say at the very beginning, you need a bunch of resources to summon your curses, to summon your allies, whatever it may be. You can play Vanish. And once Vanish is played, on the next turn, let's say it comes back to you, Maleficent doesn't move, and you get to draw another 3 energy crystals. So helping you collect that much more resources that much faster. We are now taking a look at Raven and how Raven plays. So Raven is, reminder, gets to move himself to any other location and then take an action at its new location before we move Maleficent. So once again, let's say we're starting out and we're starving for resources. So Raven currently here is at King Stefan's castle, and we move him here to the forest. We take advantage of his ability and we choose to draw 3 energy crystal. So that's Raven's turn. We then move Maleficent over from Briar's Rose Cottage over to the forest, and then we can draw another 3 energy crystals, right? Once again, Maleficent does require a lot of energy crystals to summon her curses, so this is another great way to collect or accumulate additional resources. Let's say our game board was in this situation. Right now, we're taking a look at Spinning Wheel. So Spinning Wheel is an item that can be placed at any of the location, and if hero is destroyed at this location of this card, gain power equal to the hero strength -1. So let's say our game board's like this, and we have Savage Goon here with 4 power here at the very bottom, and then we have King Stefan here at the very top with 4 strength. And so what happens is, as Savage Goon and King Stefan do battle, they destroy each other, and so because of Spinning Wheel's effect, we now can collect 3 power crystal, 1 less than King Stefan's power. Let's say if a different person was there, let's say it was King Hubert, and King Hubert has a power of 3. If the Savage Goon was to vanquish King Hubert, we would now only draw 2 power crystals rather than 3. Let's say our game state currently looks like this, and we have King Hubert here being played, and he has a strength of +3, right? So with a strength of 3, we would need to destroy him, but we have no allies. Maleficent can play Dragon Form. Defeat a hero with a strength of 3 or less, and then if a fate action targets you before the next turn, you gain 3 power. Ideally is we step on the effect card, which is play a card, let's say we are on that sphere, and we play Dragon Form to destroy King Hubert. King Hubert gets destroyed, this card gets discarded, the turn goes around. If someone targets us and fates us, we can now draw 3 energy crystals. Now, if no one targets us and it comes back to our turn, the second effect, we do not get to draw 3 energy crystal. We are now looking at the card Staff. And so the card effect Staff is if Maleficent is at this location, the cost to play an effect or a curse is reduced by 1. So let's say we have Dreamless Sleep. So the cost to play Dreamless Sleep is 3, but with the effect of Staff, we can now play Dreamless Sleep for 2 energy crystal. Or let's say we had Forest of Thorns. Forest of Thorns cost us 2 energy crystals, and if we're standing here, it would now only cost us 1 energy crystal to play. And then if you had an effect card in the same way, let's say we were standing there and then we drew Dragon Form, or we needed to play Dragon Form. Dragon Form costs in this corner here 3 to play, but with the Staff and with Maleficent standing in the same location, it would now only cost us 2 to play Dragon Form. The next thing we're going to take a look at is curses. As you can see on the board, we currently have Sleepless Dream in play. on the forest. So Sleepless Dream, what it does, it actually reduces the strength of a hero by 2. Currently, we have King Stefan here with a strength of 4 being played at the very top. With Sleepless Dream in play, that reduces his strength to power of 2. Now, a curse can be removed by another individual, or if Maleficent or you as a player make a mistake. So Sleepless Dream is discarded or removed from the section when an ally is played to the location. So here we have Sinister Goon. So Sinister Goon has an attack of 3. So we know that Sinister Goon can actually destroy King Stefan if he was to vanquish him in this current situation. However, if we said we're going to play Sinister Goon, and when I say play, is we play him new to the field, this would then destroy Dreamless Sleep, and the Goon is now only a +3, while King Stefan is still +4, and we're unable to vanquish King Stefan. However, if Sleepless Dream was in play like that, and we already had Sinister Goon in play, and then we chose the option to move an ally or an item, and we moved him over to the forest, this does not destroy or does not trigger the second effect of the curse, which means Sinister Goon is still +3 plus his effect, which gives them 1 strength for each curse, so he's now +4, and then King Stefan is actually at a 2 because of the curse's effect, which then the Sinister Goon can vanquish King Stefan, right? So very importantly about this curse is if it's a new card being played onto the same space, it will destroy the curse. But if the ally is moved from an adjacent space onto the same location, it does not destroy the curse. The next curse we're going to take a look at is Thorns or Forest of Thorns. So Forest of Thorns, heroes must be a strength of 4 or more to be played on the location. So currently, if this was your game state and someone picked up King Hubert, who has a strength of +3, we are unable to play him at this current location because of Forest of Thorns. Now, there's always a second piece to all curses, just like Sleepless Dream. And then that Forest of Thorns gets discarded when a hero is played to this location. So if someone is fortunate enough to draw a hero, let's say King Stefan of 4 and Prince Philip, which is +5, I believe, we can play him here onto the same location, which will then destroy our Forest of Thorns, right? So having this in play early is great from Maleficent's perspective because it actually stops heroes from being played at the upper location. However, if a strong enough hero does come along, it will definitely remove, or it does definitely remove, the curse. The last and I think the most powerful curse that Maleficent owns is called Green Fire. And so Green Fire, its unique ability is that heroes cannot be played on this location, freeing up the top section of the game board for Maleficent to take advantage of, right? So if Green Fire was in play here at the forest, King Stefan can't be played, King Hubert can't be played, Merryweather can't be played, no one can be played at that top location. Now, the issue with this card, and because it's so strong, is that Maleficent then cannot enter that play location. So this curse is removed if Maleficent moves into that location. So if Maleficent is moved into the forest in this example, Green Fire is then destroyed, and heroes can be played at the top of the game board again, right? So this here is powerful. Green Fire is powerful as long as Maleficent does not need that space. So where to play Green Fire? Definitely want to play it somewhere that Maleficent does not need to frequently visit, or if there are things that you don't feel is necessary, or there's other things you can get rid of. If there's heroes that needs to be played, or needs heroes that need to be get rid of, you might need to use other cards to remove them instead of Vanquish right here, right? Which is this one here. If you don't need to draw as many power crystals, or you feel like you need to draw, then maybe playing it here so that you just lose it on one power crystal. But definitely have to be aware of how green fire is to be played. All right, so as we take a look at the Fate deck, just a quick reminder for everyone, the Fate deck are the ones that have the white backing to your respective villains. So in Maleficent's case, it looks like this. And in every Fate deck in Disney Villainous, there are 15 cards. So we're going to go through the 15 cards here today, talk a little bit about the playthrough, how they work, and what situations you may use them. So we're starting off with Prince Philip. So when Prince Philip is played, you may discard all allies from his current location. Very powerful card to help you remove your, I guess, allies, which is the Maleficent's allies, away from a specific location. So very powerful card there. Second one is Aurora. When a card is played, reveal the top card from Maleficent's deck or Fate deck. If it's a hero, play it. Otherwise, return it back to the top of the deck. So this is really just to help you or help other players stop you from winning as fast, summoning heroes as fast as possible onto your Fate side or Maleficent's Fate side of the board. First of the fairy godmothers is Flora. When Flora is played, Maleficent must reveal her hand. Until Flora is defeated, Maleficent must play with her hand revealed. And this is super important, especially when, in Maleficent's case, she wants to play curses at each location. So if we can see Maleficent's hand, we also know how many curses she has ready to be played. Merryweather, curses cannot be played to her location, which is wonderful. So if we have this hero out initially or earlier, it requires Maleficent to destroy or vanquish this fairy godmother prior to putting curses down. So it just slows down so much of her gameplay. Fauna is played. You may discard Dreamless Sleep from her location. And so Dreamless Sleep is actually one of the curses that exists within Maleficent's deck, and we'll actually go through that as well. So in this case now, you have 3 guards, and so these 3 guards, they're the same, right? But what guards are is when performing a vanquish action to defeat guards, at least 2 allies must be used. So this is really powerful because now it forces Maleficent to use multiple people or multiple allies to get rid of one card. So it's wasting her resources. Next is King Hubert. When King Hubert is played, you may move 1 ally from each adjacent location to his location. And this actually directly relates to one of the curses called Dreamless Night, which we showed you. And so we'll talk a little bit more about how that impacts and how King Hubert actually counters Dreamless Night as well. King Stefan is played. You may move Maleficent to any location, and this is also really powerful. When King Stefan is played, it actually counters another one of Maleficent's curse called Green Flame or Green Fire, and we'll talk about that as well later, and I'll show you how that works. And then you have 2 effects here called Once Upon a Dream, Once Upon a Dream. Discard a curse from location in Maleficent Realm that has a hero. So essentially, you're just clearing curses on any of the locations that Maleficent has played. And last but not least, you have 3 items here. These 3 items, it's called Sword of Truth. When Sword of Truth is played, attach it to a hero. When no other attached item, that hero gets a +2 strength. The cost of curse at that location also increases by +2. I don't think you guys can see that, so let's do it this way. Yeah, so this is super powerful because the average cost of the curses are 3. And so it just makes it more expensive for Maleficent to play curses. It requires her to collect more resources, once again slowing her progression down as well. So these are your 15 Fate cards that we will actually talk through and how they impact or how they interact with Maleficent's board. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the fairy godmothers first. And the first one we're going to start off with is Fauna. So just to recap, this is Fauna. So when Fauna is played, you may discard Dreamless Sleep from her location. So as you can see here, we have 3 of the curses that's in play right now. We have Dreamless Sleep right here, Green Fire right here, and then Forest of Thorns right here. So let's say someone fates me and fates us specifically, they draw Fauna, and as long as they put it here on top, it will discard Dreamless Sleep. So the next fairy godmother we're going to take a look at is Merryweather. Curses cannot be played at her location. So hypothetically, if our board looked like this and someone had fated us and was blocking our forest, we are now unable to play any of our curses onto forest, right? Thus slowing down the progression of Maleficent's objective. Last but not least, we have Flora, which is the 3rd fairy godmother. And so when Flora is played, Maleficent must reveal her hand until she is defeated. Maleficent must play her hand open or revealed, right? So let's say someone fates us, Flora gets played, and so we have our hand like this, which is unfortunate because we have an ally, 1 curse, 2 curse, and another ally, and now we have to play it open, right? So it must be revealed at all times, and so people get to see our cards, knows how many curses we have, they can see how much energy we have, which allies we have. Definitely a huge disadvantage when your opponents or the other players knows your progression and your next steps, and they can actually think through your steps even before you can. So the next fate card we're going to take a look at is this one here called Guards. When performing a vanquish action to defeat guards, at least 2 allies must be used. So what does that mean? So as you can see, we've placed a guard here on King Stefan Castle, and let's say Maleficent decides to vanquish, and we're going to use this guy here. It's called Savage Goon. And his power, as you can see here in the very bottom, is 4, right? A guard's power, and we're going to show you here, is 3. So, you know, in any regular game, the goon or the savage goon is able to vanquish the guard quite easily. But because of the effect of it, of the guard, we now require additional allies. So we might have to play another goon, which is the Crackling Goon here at this location, or we might have to play here, which is the Sinister Goon at this location as well, right? So ideally, we might have to use Savage Goon plus Crackling Goon to destroy guard, but that might not be the most resourceful, right? So we might use Sinister Goon and then also an ally, Crackling Goon, to destroy them as well. But either way, it's requiring 2 resources of Maleficent just to remove 1 guard. The next card we're going to take a look at is called Once Upon a Dream. And so this card allows your opponents to discard a curse from Maleficent's realm that has a hero. So as you take a look here, someone draws a fate card, and we have Flora up here, we have Forest of Thorns down here, Green Fire here, and then Dreamless Sleep here. So if someone was to draw Once Upon a Dream, well, they can't use it here on this location or here at the Green Fire location. They must use it here at Flora's to remove Forest of Thorns, right? The next card that we're going to take a look at is King Stefan. And so King Stefan is an extremely powerful hero because it allows you to remove 1 of Maleficent's curse. So the curse we're taking a look at is called Green Fire. And so here, Green Fire says heroes cannot be played to this location, which is great. However, discard this curse if Maleficent moves to this location. So let's say if Green Fire was here played on the forest and someone draws King Stefan, well, we can't play him here on the forest because of its condition. However, we can play King Stefan to any other location. So let's say we play him here, right, at Briar Rose Cottage. The second effect, or the effect of King Stefan, is that we can now move Maleficent to any other location. So by moving Maleficent here to the forest, it essentially destroys the Green Fire curse, slowing down Maleficent's progression. The next hero that we're going to take a look at is King Hubert. So when King Hubert is played, you may move 1 ally from each adjacent location to his location. So very simply, when King Hubert is played, let's say we play him here at Briar's Rose Cottage. We can move allies on the adjacent places, so Forbidden Mountain and the forest, to his location. So we can move Crackling Goon over here. Now, because Savage Goon is so far away, we cannot move Savage Goon all the way over to Briar's Road Cottage. He must stay there. Now, ideally though, if the person played King Hubert here though, we can now move Savage Goon over to the forest and Sinister Goon over to the forest as well, clearing up 2 spaces for heroes to play, to destroy, to effectively change the game state of Maleficent's board. The next card we're going to take a look at is Sword of Truth, an item card. So when this card is drawn, you must attach it to a hero that has no other attached items. The hero then gets +2 strength, making the hero stronger. The cost to play a curse at that location is also increased by 2. So let's say we play Sword of Truth here, attached to King Stefan, right? So in this location here in the forest, if we were to play Dreamless Sleep, it would now cost 5 power because of the effect. So 3 power is the original cost +2. If we were to play Forest of Thorns, it would now cost a total of 4 power. Once again, 2 + 2 is 4. And then last but not least, if we want to play Green Fire, its original cost is 3. Now the new cost of it is now 5. Right? So to play it here, we would require 5 total power tokens, requiring Maleficent to gather or draw more power resources from the Cauldron of Power. So the next card we're going to take a look at is Aurora. So when Aurora is played, reveal the top card from Maleficent's Fate deck, which we have set up here. If the card is a hero, play it. Otherwise, return it to the top of the deck. So let's say someone fates Aurora and we put Aurora, so we can't put Aurora here at Green Fire because that's the effect of Green Fire. Heroes cannot be played. So let's play Aurora here at the forest where the Forest of Thorns is played, right? So we play Aurora there, her effect takes on, and so we draw Fauna. So when Fauna is played, you may discard Dreamless Sleep from that location. So let's say we played here, which is the most reasonable choice, which then discards Dreamless Sleep, right? So the combo potential for Aurora is huge because of what she's able to do. So let's say she doesn't draw Fauna, and let's say she draws something else like an item. So let's say she draws Sword of Truth. Well, we now know the next card is Sword of Truth. This doesn't get discarded. This just goes to the top of the deck, allowing the other players around the table to know how they can either strengthen Aurora or even other heroes on the deck, or make curses more expensive, whatever it may be. So the last but definitely not least card in the Fate or Hero deck we're going to look at today is Prince Philip. And so Prince Philip, his strength is that when he's played, all allies from his location is discarded. So very strong card. So as you can see on our board, there's no allies on Forbidden Mountain, there's no allies on Briar Rose Cottage, and there's no ally on the forest. Only there are 3 allies on King Stefan's castle. So playing him here will now remove all 3 of the allies played there. Prince Philip is extremely powerful because we, as Maleficent, have to rebuild our army or our allies here to vanquish Prince Philip, thus slowing down Maleficent's progression and not allowing her to take 2 actions on whatever location it is placed on. As we start to talk about different combinations, one of the most common ones is how King Hubert is played. So King Hubert, when played, allows you to move an ally from an adjacent zone to his current location. So in this example, we have Sinister Goon here at the forest with Sleepless Dream in play. So what this does, it actually makes Sinister Goon's energy or strength +4 because of its effect. At the same time, Sleepless Dream removes or -2 the strength of a hero. So any hero that's played at the top section here of the forest is definitely weakened, and Sinister Goon is also strong enough to remove them from play. King Hubert, what it does is it actually neglects or negates both Sleepless Dream and gives it the opportunity to remove the strength of Sinister Goon by moving him adjacently to this position here. When King Hubert does that, Sinister Goon's strength now decreases to 3 because there's no longer any curses at his location, and King Hubert's strength is 3 as well, and so they can vanquish each other or they can get rid of each other. Similarly, when we have Guard in play up here, guard requires 2 people or 2 allies to vanquish guards. So in this example, even though we have Sleepless Dream in play, which minuses 2 of the guard strength, so he's only at +1, and Sinister Goon is at a 4 because of the curse, he himself cannot be removed or cannot remove the guard even though he's stronger. Let's say when someone plays a Savage Goon on top, which gives it a +4, so now you have 2 people here that can remove the guard. However, once again, we're going to talk about King Hubert. If we play King Hubert here, he can actually remove, let's say, the Sinister Goon over. And so now the Savage Goon is the only one here. So even though the Savage Goon is strong enough to remove the guard with a power of 4, and the guard is only a power of 3, because of the guard's effect, this section or this space is still heavily contested. And so that's another power of King Hubert, is to move or rearrange where the allies of Maleficent are played. So as we take a look at this game board, we have 4 curses in play. We have Dreamless Sleep, Forest of Thorns, and Green Fire. And so it almost looks like Maleficent is about to win. She has all the curses, but now it's at the end of your turn. So as players are going through, what you want to be careful and what you want to be aware of is if someone on their turn decides to draw from your fate deck and draws King Stefan allows Maleficent to be played or moved to any location. Let's say someone plays it here, right? And King Stefan is now moved, moves Maleficent here, and Green Fire is now destroyed. If you were playing with multiple people and someone else decided to fate you, well, the next card that you should be wary of them drawing is Once Upon a Time. Because if Once Upon a Dream is drawn, you can discard a card from Maleficent Realm at that hero's location. So let's say currently King Stefan's at the only location, the effect is on this location, we now lose Forest of Thorns. So we may look like we were about to win, but be very careful about your curses, where they're played, and how or what protections are in place. One of the things that you can do to protect yourself is to have multiple curses at each location. So let's say this was your game board and this was your setting, and you still had in your hand Green Fire, and Forest of Thorns, right? And so here, you can stack multiple curses on the game board. So we may play another Green Fire here, and we may play, a Forest of Thorns here. So even if someone does or is fortunate enough to draw King Stefan, and they play it here or here, even though Green Fire is now removed, we still have a curse in place. One of the most common combos for Maleficent is to have Staff being played on the Forest location. The reason we played at the Forest location is because there's actually 2 options to play card on this location, which allows us to minimize the cost of playing our curses or our effect cards. So in this case, let's say we had Green Flame, Sleepless Dream, and Forest of Thorns in our hand. It would actually, to play 2 of them, to play 2 curses, it will only cost us 4 power crystals to play 2 of those curses, right? Making it a little bit more efficient with our power resources as we try to collect, or if we're slow in resource generation. Another very common combo for Maleficent, and she doesn't need to vanquish heroes specifically by using the vanquish option that you see here. She has Dragon Form, which allows her to defeat a hero with a strength of 3 or less. And if something does happen, then she can draw more power crystals. But ideally, Dragon Form is helpful to remove guards, because guards require 2 allies, but it does not mention about Dragon Form. So Dragon Form is a 1-for-1 trade-off in terms of resource management and card management as well. On top of that, you want to be removing heroes that is in the same spot as Spinning Wheel, because this also helps you collect or gain additional power crystals so that you can ramp up and summon more curses later on. Prince Philip is probably one of the most powerful heroes in the Fate deck for Maleficent. Prince Philip has a power of 5, and all allies from his location when he is summoned or when he's played is removed from all location. So in our example, let's say Prince Philip is played and we need to get rid of him. The most efficient or minimum cost combo to remove Prince Philip is to use Dreamless Sleep coupled with Sinister Goon. If we were to play Sleepless Dream here, Philip's power is now at 3 because of the effect of Sleepless Dream. Now we play Sinister Goon, whose effect is Sinister Goon gets a +1 strength for any crystal at his location. And it only costs you 5 energy crystals to play this combo, and we can remove Prince Philip from the top of your play card. Coming back to the example of removing Prince Philip from your board, the other not as effective options are to use Savage Goon, which now costs you 6 energy crystal to remove Prince Philip, or 2 Crackling Goons, which will also cost you 5. However, it requires 3 cards to play. So once again, the most efficient way to remove Prince Philip is actually using Sinister Goon coupled with Dreamless Sleep. So this is how you can play through Maleficent's deck. There's many combinations of effectiveness on how you can clear certain heroes, but at the same time, Maleficent is a quite balanced way of playing this game. She does use a lot of spells to help remove her heroes, but at the same time, she uses her allies as well to remove her heroes. In future videos, you'll notice that there's going to be some villains that are effect heavy or spell heavy to removing heroes, and at the same time you'll see some heroes that are, or some villains that are ally heavy, so they have to play a lot of allies to help remove heroes on their side of the board. So Maleficent overall is very great. It's super balanced, and she has a great power of cauldron regeneration through cards like Dragonfire and Spinning Wheel. So it flows very nicely and is a great introductory to this game and getting the ebb and flow of this game as well. Right? As always, I want to thank you guys for checking this video out in this YouTube series of Disney Villainous. If you found this video to be helpful, please like the video and subscribe for future videos as well. If I had missed anything, or if you had questions about Maleficent's playstyle, in the comment below, feel free to let me know, write something, and I will definitely respond as well. But as always, I appreciate you guys being here, and thank you for checking this video out. Stay safe during this time, and hopefully I'll see you guys again. Bye for now.